So here we are on a chilly, windy Sunday afternoon in December, and I'm dying for some good pizza. So I'm going to make pizza today, but not just any pizza. I'm making a vegan dessert pizza. Ah, so good. So in your mixer, you're going to start with 3 3/4 cups of flour. Going to put it on a light blend here, just to get the stuff incorporated as we put it in. We're going to need 1.5 teaspoons of salt. Two teaspoons of instant yeast. And 2 tablespoons of olive oil. The next step is 1 to 1 1/4 cups of water. Start with your first cup. Slowly adding in, let it get incorporated. You may need a spatula to knock down the sides. Kind of get some of the dry ingredients in there. Now, you can do this by hand if you don't have a mixer. But have I mentioned that I'm lazy? Now this will take a while for your water to get mixed in with your dry ingredients. And probably a couple times you'll have to scrape down the sides to get the real dry stuff down into the middle where your dough hook can get to it. But that's pretty simple. If you're still a little dry, you can add a little bit more of your warm water. Do it in stages. It doesn't take much to get into the dry flour. You want your dough to be soft, springy, not too wet. When you've got a good dough ball going around your dough hook, you want to give it like 5 minutes to really knead that dough, to get everything mixed in so it'll rise evenly. Now that we have our dough kneaded properly, we're going to take another bowl, oil it, and put our dough ball into it. Round it out a little bit. I like to bring the sides in and under. And then we're going to just take that ball, kind of roll it around in that oil on the inside. And now cover it. You can use a tea towel or a little bit of plastic wrap. And this is going to set in a warm spot for about 1.5 hours to 2 hours. You want it to just a little more than double in size. Now for our sauce on our dessert pizza, we're going to take a small saucepan, medium heat. To that we're going to add 1 cup of chopped up cranberries and orange zest. So I've done about 2 teaspoons of orange zest in here so it's not too strong. The juice of 1/2 orange, a teaspoon of vanilla, quarter cup of water, two tablespoons of coconut cream, a quarter cup of Splenda, get that all mixed up so it can simmer down. We're going to simmer this so that it starts to thicken up, and we want to cook the cranberries. To this, we're going to add a teaspoon of basil and 1 star anise. Important point, take the star anise out when it's done cooking. I love the flavor of the star anise, but you don't want to bite into that big hard woody chunk. Then all this has to do is bring it up to a nice simmer, let the water cook out of it, and you'll be done. Now our dough is risen. We got our mat for rolling out pizza. You can use flour, but I actually prefer cornmeal because it gives the pizza. So we just break off a piece and work it up. I do a little more kneading to take it down, get some of the air out. And then start shaping it up. Try and get it as round as you can at this point. You're never going to get it completely round unless you have a good 50 years experience working in a pizza shop. Well, I don't. So I use a little roller to work this out. I like my pizza crust kind of thin. Now, I use a docker. You can get them for a couple bucks on Amazon. It's a little spiky thing. And all you do is you run it through your dough like that, and it relaxes the dough more so you can get it to spread out evenly. Now, because this is a dessert pizza and it's vegan, I'm using margarine with a tablespoon of sugar in it, about 3 tablespoons of margarine, and a little bit of basil, about a teaspoon in it. And we're just going to brush this crust. I want to give it a little bit more nutty flavor. The basil, even though it's a savory herb, will give you a little sweetness on this dessert pizza. There, we get it all done up. Now I've got my oven preheated to 500 degrees. That's going to cook this fast. For the dessert pizza, I'm going to put it in for 5 minutes to get it to rise, give it a little brown, and then I'll put our dessert toppings on it and throw it back in for just a little bit more. I've had the cast iron pan in the oven, so that also is 500 degrees. I'm going to hit it with just a little bit of oil. And with my peel, put that right on. You can hear it sizzling already. And this goes right in that oven. What we're going to do is we're going to take our cranberry mixture and spread it on that crust. Be careful of the pan. This sucker is hot. Now we don't want this real thick. It's just the flavor we're looking for. Spread it right towards the edges. It makes a nice pretty little pizza there. Bring that back to the center of the pan. Now I'm going to add some thin orange slices on top of this. About the other half of the orange that we use for the juice and the zesting. Never want anything to go to waste. On top of that, we're going to drizzle a little coconut milk infusion glaze. This is half and half. Truvia confectionery sugar, because it's sugar-free, and coconut milk. So we'll just take this and drizzle it over our pizza. We didn't put too much Splenda into the cranberries because we've got the glaze here. On top of that, we're going to sprinkle some crushed walnuts. And some flaked coconut. This is going right back in the oven, but only for like a minute, minute and a half. Just to kind of brown the top a little. So here's our pizza. Sweet, tangy, crunchy, coconutty. God, this is so good. I already took slices to friends, and they're all like, holy crap, what the is in this? They loved it, needless to say, and I love it too.